Have you ever wondered just how far a mother would go to protect her child? In a world where desperation meets determination, we are going to look into a story that defies the ordinary and challenges the boundaries of a mother's love. Michelle Renee, a mother pushed to the brink, took matters into her own hands to free her kidnapped 7-year-old daughter, Breea. But how did Michelle Renee, an ordinary mom, find herself in a situation where robbing a bank became her only option? Who were the players behind the kidnapping, and what kind of danger was young Breea facing that prompted her mother to become a real-life superhero? Join us on this riveting journey where the boundaries between right and wrong are tested, unlock the truth, and discover the untold dimensions of a mother's love. This chilling footage, recorded by the FBI on an undisclosed date around 2001, provides a harrowing ordeal of Michelle Renee, a 35-year-old single mother. Inside the confines of her own home, agents shadow her as she recounts the traumatic events that unfolded just weeks prior. In a stark and horrifying ordeal, Michelle and her 7-year-old daughter, Breea, fell prey to a group of armed assailants who forcibly took them hostage. Cornered at gunpoint, Michelle Renee was rendered powerless as her worst nightmare unfolded. Breea, her precious daughter, was being rigged with explosives right before her eyes. Locked in a life-or-death situation, the assailants thrust Michelle into an impossible choice, a cruel ultimatum that would test the limits of a mother's love. "You're going to rob a bank for us," they declared, "or we will kill you and your daughter will be the first to suffer." The backstory. In the lovely city of Vista, California, Michelle Renee and her daughter Breea enjoy a cozy life in their isolated hilltop home overlooking the ocean. However, their peace was shattered on November 20th, 2000, when 7-year-old Breea woke her mother up in the middle of the night, frightened by someone looking through her bedroom window. Little did she know, a man named Christopher Butler had been stalking them for almost a year, along with accomplices Robert Ortiz, Michael Huggins, and Lisa Ramirez. The next evening, November 21st, around 8 p.m., the intruders forcibly entered their home by breaking down the back door. The invaders, dressed in black, stormed in with guns, catching Michelle off guard. Meanwhile, Breea tried to escape but was intercepted. The chaos unfolded with Michelle in a state of panic, fearing the worst for her daughter. Butler barked orders to his partners, orchestrating their movements inside of the house. Huggins, the largest of the group, dropped Breea and headed for the front door, while Ortiz communicated on a radio. Butler, besides Michelle, seemed to be coordinating with others outside through walkie-talkies, using code names like Money 1 and Money 2. In the midst of the chaos, the unmistakable sound of duct tape being unraveled signaled a sinister turn of events, marking the beginning of an unimaginable ordeal for Michelle, Breea, and the unfolding events in their once serene home. Before revealing his sinister intentions, Butler disclosed that the unsettling experience Breea had the previous night was not just a nightmare. He chillingly admitted to stalking Michelle at her daughter's school, home, and workplace, displaying an unsettling knowledge of their lives. The assailants then presented a chilling ultimatum: rob a bank for them, or they will kill both Michelle and Breea. Michelle's friend, Kimbra Oliver, arrived at the residence at the same time, unknowingly stumbling into the danger. Butler, who was aware of Kimbra's approach, had assigned one of his associates, Michael Huggins, to restrain and tie her. In the hours that followed, the intruders made themselves at home, consuming Michelle's food and causing chaos. Butler then ordered Michelle to prepare, using vulgar and sexually explicit language. Forced into a shower under duress, Michelle and Breea complied with their captors' demands. After the traumatic events in the bathroom, Michelle, Breea, and their friend Kimbra found themselves facing an unthinkable ultimatum. Christopher Butler, the ringleader, started pulling firearms, bladed weapons, and ammunition out of the bag, until he revealed 2 sticks of dynamite covered in tape and wires. He threatened to detonate them if Michelle didn't comply. Michelle, in excruciating pain, was forced to strap the dynamite tightly to her ribs. Breea, too, was duct taped in a vulnerable position. With a chilling detonation device displayed, Butler dictated that any disobedience meant disintegration. Michelle was then given 10 minutes to speak to Breea, expressing her love and assurance. As the sun rose, Christopher Butler forced Michelle outside at gunpoint, instructing her to drive to the bank. But it was not just any bank, but her workplace, the Bank of America branch on Santa Fe Avenue. Threatening to detonate the bomb if she disobeyed, Butler gave Michelle a tight timeline. She had only 5 minutes after the bank opened. With no choice, Michelle entered the bank, attempting to appear normal. Once entering, she was greeted by one of her colleagues, Loretta Myers, who immediately sensed that something was wrong. As she waited, she noticed a business card from the assailant, Christopher Butler, triggering a revelation. Realizing that he had been a customer at the bank and had sat at her desk, Michelle connected the dots. She understood that surviving this ordeal could bring Butler and Ramirez to justice. But as the bank opened, Michelle's internal timer began, and with precise steps, she compelled a bank teller into the vault. Undeterred, Michelle revealed the heist to Myers, compelling her to assist in gathering $360,000. Before leaving, Michelle warned Myers not to call the police, emphasizing that the threat was to their lives. To her relief, she found Breea and Kimbra alive in the bedroom, their explosives removed. Michelle urged them to seek help while he stayed behind with the bomb, uncertain of its authenticity. But with the help of her roommate, they removed the bomb. The three then ran to the nearest neighbor and the police. Upon arrival, discovered the explosives were non-functional. Subsequently, Michelle and Breea were questioned, and Michelle, frustrated with the lack of progress, reached out to America's Most Wanted to bring her assailants to justice. Despite false statements from Butler and the defense, the jury saw through the lies. Butler received 3 consecutive life sentences plus 64 years. Huggins and Ortiz were found guilty and sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences. Reflecting on the painful event 23 years later, Michelle and Breea endure the lingering trauma. However, Thomas Manning rightly calls Michelle a hero, acknowledging the strength and courage that saved both of their lives that fateful night. After the traumatic events in Vista, Michelle and Breea relocated to San Diego, determined to rebuild their lives. Despite the initial struggles, Breea thrived through high school. However, Breea did face a new challenge during her senior year in 2011. On December 8th, she collapsed and was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a rare neurological disease, rendering her paralyzed. Throughout the challenging journey, Michelle and Breea chose resilience. Together, they co-founded Verb Media, a successful production company. Michelle, also an author, penned Held Hostage, recounting the November 21st's events adapted into a movie, and 9 Days, a memoir about healing and forgiveness. Michelle's choices reflect her determination to be a positive example for Breea, illustrating that even in the face of hardship, one can emerge stronger.